Hey guys, what's up? It's Omi again. Today I'm going to show you yet another amazing video tutorial thing from Somnium Studios. Alright, let's begin. First we're going to start by launching the Dream Editor. Let me make sure it's in the right window here. Ignore this thing, this is not for you. We'll start by making another brand new, awesome, clean map. Alright, in this tutorial I'm just going to kind of elaborate on what we covered in last lesson. I'm going to show you how you can add rooms to your dreams, things like that, and how you can kind of use dragon speak. We're going to talk about that a little. So, let's begin. First off, you're going to want to add walls. Walls are important for any outdoor area if you want to create a building type thing. So I'm just going along, adding my walls in. There, I have a nice little building. Alright, and now let's give it a roof. Looking through the wall files here. Item files, I should say. Alright, and I think my building needs a couple windows, so it doesn't look like it's a creepy windowless hut. No one wants that. And maybe we'll surround it with some nice palm trees. And I didn't talk about this last time, but if you notice, right next to the tree here, it's kind of getting there's this line that appeared for the wall going through the tree. And that's actually due to an old patch file known as junctions.fox or .fsh. You don't really need to know the name, but basically they used to have this really weird way of doing walls that was overly complicated, and they got rid of it. But the default walls, these ones and the brown brick ones, will do that. None of the other walls will do that. If I use another wall and stick it there, you can see it's just fine. The line didn't appear going straight through the middle of the tree like it did last time, like it's doing now again. But with these, the brick walls and the white kind of stone walls, that happens. And to fix that, you can use shape 3 or shape 15. And if you do that, you see that the line disappears going through the trees. One thing that you should note is that shape 3 is walkable. That means people can actually walk through this wall when they can't walk through shape 1 in the wall shape. And the same applies to this brick here. This is object 13 or wall 13. People cannot walk through that one, and it will make a line. But if you go to 15, it won't make a line, and people can walk straight through it. Kind of weird, don't ask me why it's like that, but that's just how it is. Anyway, continuing on. So, now we have this nice little outdoor area. So, we want to make an indoor area. Well, first let me save. Indoor-outdoor example. Alright, so now I have the dream saved, so I could upload it, obviously, if you listened to my last tutorial. So we have this outdoor area. Well, now how do we make an indoor area? Well, there's one of two ways you could do this. You could do it using regions, or you can use the old-fashioned method, which is to teleport people to the other side of the map and have that be your indoor area. And I'm actually going to show you that first, because it's actually a little bit easier to understand than regions. Plus, with regions, you can't really have a roof very easily. You have to do all these funky patch editing things, and it just doesn't make any sense for novice-level people to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in part of the map that I want to use as my indoor area with black. So I got my line tool, and I'm going to click there. I got my one thing down, and if you hold the spacebar key, it actually just keeps spitting out the item. So if I hold the spacebar key and push the down arrow, I'm just stuck with this line that goes straight all the way up and down the map. I can then use the fill tool to fill in the right half of the map with black. So this will be our indoor side, this will be our outdoor side. So now we can just go over to the indoor side and start filling it in. with the inside of the building. And as you see here, I believe that's the same size. I have 4 by 5, and here I have 4 by 5, so it is the same. And notice the door needs to be placed in the proper location, so we can stick an open door there so people can see that's there. And we'll just add our walls. And maybe a few windows, and a nice little outdoor patch that people can see from inside. And we'll add a flower or something out there to make it look a little pretty. Alright, I suppose it also needs some furniture, so it's just not a completely empty room. Alright, there's our little house thing. So right now we have an outdoor area and an indoor area. Now the question is, how do we link these two areas together? Well, we do this with something known as Dragonspeak. Dragonspeak is Furcadia's scripting language, and don't worry, it's really easy to use once you get the hang of it. So I'm gonna show you that now, I guess. Now's a good time to start. So, we'll run the Dragonspeak editor, and this is it. Yes, it looks scary and intimidating. There's lines of code, and if you scroll through up and down here, there's all these different things that you can pick from. Or is there? Right now, you'll notice that in the Dragonspeak editor, there are only causes and effects. Let me backtrack a little bit. This area here is like the code editor, you could call it. It's where all the code goes. It's basically like a notepad file. You know, you can just write blah 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 whatever you want there, and then it'll not do anything because that's not real code. But if we put a line of code in, these are all different lines that you can pick from. Dragonspeak lines, they're called. These are causes, and these are effects. Now, if you think, what's a cause, what's an effect? Well, when someone does something, that's a cause. And then what it does after the cause is the effect. So if someone arrives in the dream, move the triggering furry to position 1010 or somewhere nearby if it's occupied. So what's that code do? Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. When someone arrives in the dream, it's going to move the triggering furry to the position 1010. And that's actually not something I talked about very much in the last one. If you look at this information box, you can see that it says current X and current Y. That indicates your current location that the mouse is at. So right now, the mouse is at the position 1627. Well, where's 1010? Let's find it. Just kind of mouse over till you get there. There it is, there's 1010. That's where it'll take you to when you enter the dream. So if we want to change that, we want it to move to maybe somewhere near the front of the house. So instead of 1010, let's use the position 1226. Now there's one of two ways you can put that in. You can obviously go in here and write 1226 into the Dragonspeak editor and save it, and now when someone arrives in the dream, it'll move them to the position 1226. But there's a shortcut, and that is to use Control. You hold down the Control key, and then you click with your left mouse button, so Control click. Then, if you go into the Dragonspeak editor, delete that, and you use Control V to paste, or you can obviously do Edit Paste, but the shortcut for pasting is Control V in case you didn't know that. And it'll just paste the point that you just clicked in there, and if you're doing a lot of code, this saves a lot of time. That's how I do it all the time. But I still didn't answer the question. How do we link this door to this one to go from inside to outside and back again? Well, we use Dragonspeak. Similar to this, we want to move them somewhere. So this line will actually be used again. We're going to use this line, move the triggering furry to this location. It's just not going to be the location that it currently is now. We're going to have to change the location to reflect inside and outside of the door. The cause has to be different, because when someone arrives in the dream, well, that doesn't have anything to do with moving into the door. So let's look here. We need a cause that says when somebody moves into position whatever. Unfortunately, that's not in the beginner level commands that we can use, but if we click the up arrow once and we're at the experimenter level, we can use this line. It becomes visible, 07, when somebody moves into position whatever. And then we go to effects, we look for it, we want to move the triggering furry to position whatever or someplace nearby if it's occupied. You do not want to use move any furry present. that is different. That is for moving multiple furries at once, and we only want to move one person at once. So we need to have this code in once to get the people into the house, and once again to get it back out. And we don't need those number signs there because we're going to put actual coordinates in. So when somebody moves into this position behind the door, I'm going to control click behind the door, go to Drag and Speak Editor, paste it. We want them to move to this location inside. So we paste that there. So that'll get them from this place. They'll move into the position behind the door, and it'll move them inside to this door location. Then they bump the door from inside, that's a different one, and we move them outside to the point right in front of the door. Control click, Control V to paste it in. Alright, that's all the code you need to make that door work. So we'll save it, save the Drag and Speak, we'll save the dream, and now we'll go into Fricadia. Ignore that text, and we will find a place to upload the stream. Remember again, it's just Control T to upload a dream, or you can go to the Edit tab and hit the Play Stream button. Alright, the dream's almost uploaded. And there it is. We go into it, and you'll notice we didn't move to the position 1010, we moved to the location that we defined in the Drag and Speak. 1226 is where we appeared, and that's where I am. Then we move into the door. When somebody moves into position 1622, we move them to 5814. And that brings them inside. Then you can walk around inside the house. Then again, they move into the door from inside, so if that was moving into position 5815, and that moves them to position 1623, which is outside the door. And that, my friends, is how you make a very simple house with an indoor area and an outdoor area. Thanks for watching. That concludes this tutorial.